country lass. Every episode, a new class. Discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. From the city slicker to the country lass. Every episode, a new class. Discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. He cultivates thoughts like crops and rows. His podcast a garden where wisdom grows. No matter the topic, big or small, Waylon's there, connecting us all. So tune in to People in the Boxes tonight, where every voice shines and every story's right. With Waylon the farmer, indoors we might be, but through this podcast, we're all free. This song for Waylon, for bringing us together in a world where we all seek to connect forever. With Waylon the Boxes, tune in, you'll find a community where every voice is intertwined.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to People in the Boxes, episode 128 tonight. We have a couple of special guests in here tonight, a returning co-host, and we also have, of course, we got Red Six, we got Kim Axtell with us. Tonight we got Bean Dongo. Thanks for coming in, Bean. And we've got Jason back from the 42710 family. Appreciate you, brother. Dr. Heath. Thank you for coming, my friend. You're welcome to come and go as you please, but I'd love to hear you weigh in on our topic before you go. Tonight, it is Thursday, January 23, 2025, guys. It has been an interesting year so far, and we're going to get into it. People in the Boxes every Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. What we do here, it's about bringing people together to share our experiences, to gain perspective. Not just to say, well, I live in my own reality, you live in your own reality. No, let's compare things and compare notes, and we get a little bit better perspective on certain things and topics. And tonight's topic is probably near and dear to some of your hearts. And if you have strong opinions, we want to hear from you guys. We had this recent situation with the app TikTok, which I do not actually use. Full disclosure, we're going to get into the details on what actually happened. There's been a lot of confusion behind it, but sort of also the broader thought of social media in general, addiction to it, and or the problem with being addicted to one app, because there's some differences there. But yes, I do want to see us hitting that like button, share it out for us, guys. We do have the door prize tonight too. If we can get up to 25 live viewers on the Facebook side, we will do a door prize. And again, I mentioned it last night. If you are subscribed, you get to win double if you are here. So of course you get to win if you're not here. If you hit that like button and you have to leave, that's cool. You still get a win. But if you're subscribed and you get to hang out here with us when we do the spin, you get double. So I think that's we'll try to get into the topic now. But that's all I wanted to say. So hit the like button and let's go, guys. So Red Six, man, how are you? What's up? Let's say hi to everybody.
Pretty good. I hope everybody's doing good tonight.
Yeah. How are you? Who won?
Doing good.
I'm going to ask you who won the giveaway, the Veterans giveaway.
A gentleman named Matthew.
Matthew. Okay.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Kim, what's up, Kim? How's the new school? How's it going? How's the house?
A lot of challenges. Starting in the middle of the school year like that is hell with discipline and kids behaving and stuff like that. And then
they're like, who are you?
Yeah. And the previous teacher that was in there got fired. He was not a very good teacher, and I don't know, there was some stuff that went on. He got fired, so the kids are like, we got him fired, so
Like,
They
we
don't
can take
like-
care of this next one, no problem, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That really
well, I'm-
empowers them
I'm very-
kids, huh?
Huh?
That really empowers them kids, huh?
Yeah, I
Makes
can
them
imagine.
feel like they can take you down.
They get big balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm very structured and I'm pretty strict, like we have fun and stuff, but I have expectations. And so I had a little girl call her mom and tell her mom that I threw the pass at her like a
Did
dog.
you throw the pass at her? You can tell us.
Like-
Did you throw the pass at her?
Like a pacifier? Like, what are we
No.
talking?
Like a ball pass.
The
Ball
bathroom.
pass.
pass.
It's on a big ass board that you just whipped at
see.
somebody.
Hmm.
No, one of the kids was out somewhere with the bathroom pass, probably to the bathroom. But anyway, so I had like a thing that I had used when I first started, at the beginning of the semester a couple of weeks ago until they got me a pass. And it was sitting on my desk and I tossed it. She wasn't even at my desk. She was walking around the room to come to my desk and she was 5 to 10 feet away from my desk. And I tossed it on the end of my desk. And so she went and told her mom that I threw the pass at her like a dog. So the mom's pissed.
You said,
Wow.
"Can I get a pass?" So I took 3 steps and fucking launched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and
Well,
then I don't know. It was just, so we moved her out of my classroom, and it's funny because the kids thought I would get fired over that, right? I think they've been trying to, wheedle things amongst themselves. And it's funny because she left, I'm still there, and they were all at my desk trying to be my buddy today.
Oh,
So I'm the head bitch.
oh, no. Wow. We
It's
got
so
Bean Dongo. Speaking
funny.
of head bitch, look at it. Look what's on his head. What is this? Interesting. Okay. Less hand signals or some, what do you call it? Not hand signals.
Sign language.
Yes. God, why couldn't I think? Yeah, like, how are you, man? How's your back?
I'm doing all right, feeling decent. Can't complain. I'm ready to cash in on these 2 phones I got that got TikTok downloaded on them now. I hear
Yeah, I
the
saw
starting
your
bids
post.
are like 10,000.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw your post. That could be real. We're gonna look into that for sure. We got Jason. Jason, how's it going, man? What's it like up there in the colder state?
It's
Colder than here?
cold. So we're on our warm front now. Yesterday was negative 28 with wind chill. Today we're at negative 5, I believe.
That's a warm
So-
front.
Yeah, that's warm. Yeah.
That's warm.
So
I
we're-
didn't say it was warm. I said it warmed up.
Yeah. It's a little better.
He called it a warm front.
Yep.
Where are you in Michigan?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
in the UP or?
No, I'm in the lower part of Michigan. We got hammered the last 3 days. It has just been brutally cold. So, but
Well, I hope
trying to
you're-
stay warm. Other than that, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Good, man. Good. Well, Dr. Heath, I didn't want to just go straight to you and start poking you right away, but thank you for coming again. And it was good to hear your show today. If you guys don't know, Dr. Heath does a space daily on X around noon to 1. Sometimes the timing varies, but usually
It's always an Elvis Presley time.
okay. So how are you? I haven't sat in on your spaces very often recently, so.
Man, it's been hectic. I don't know what it is. Everybody's stuck inside. People aren't getting along, and so busy days for me. I do mental health, and then I take a break and I do midday mindset. So it's kind of a rest for me. Today wasn't because we tackled that really incredibly tragic two deaths out of Nashville, my home city.
Oh wow, okay. I
And
didn't hear
so
that
we
part.
did a space on guns on campus and what you do about that and some solutions, and so had a pretty intense space, much more intense than we usually have. Usually it's much more laid back, I think. But every now and then we get into some tough stuff because I don't like to avoid. But yeah, it's been hectic. Thanks for having me on. I'll be able to hang out with you guys for a little bit. Y'all are past my bedtime. My bedtime was like an hour ago.
Okay, so yeah, I'll explain. I tried to come up with a time, and for me, it's 8 o'clock Central now, but not everyone on the screen is the same time. But my son, he's 9, and I don't want to make him go to bed too early.
Good
and
for
I don't want to
you.
do a show like right in the middle of like his evening time, dinner time or whatever. And during the day, it doesn't make sense. And what I really thought of, and obviously I get into we get into things that are a little bit more on the adult side, adult language. There are some, we don't mind if someone comes in here drinking as long as they can hold the conversation, and otherwise we make it into fun, or we have to let them go. We've actually had episodes on alcoholism with a couple alcoholics on the screen drinking, and it was an interesting episode to look back
I bet.
on. But my point is, we try to make it an adult atmosphere, because I think that adults are the ones that can't come together and have conversations about things. Kids are talking about that, they're straight up about stuff, why is that mole on your face, or hey, what's wrong with your whatever. It's like kids are just out with it, but adults, we aren't able to like share openly, and so I want to make it an open environment.
Yeah, man, and you're a great dad. I really respect all that. I wish more people would plan. Your kids ought to be the center of your universe, not something at the periphery. They're not playthings, they're not play toys. But I always tell people, look, I really should be a big fan of poor parenting because I make so much money out of it. Because if I can get enough poor parents, I just collect more patients, because your kids are so screwed up. They got to go see a therapist when they get to be adults. And I make lots of money out of that, So as I always say, what am I complaining about? It just makes more business. But yeah, Waylon, good on you being a good parent. Yeah, social media shouldn't be the main thing. Even live streaming shouldn't be the main thing. So, man, what a blessing. A 9-year-old kid. I have fond memories of mine. I just visited my 9-year-old kid. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it, because unexpectedly we had to take him some provisions, which I love doing. And he's now, I like to joke with him, a quarter of a century old. I told him, I said, you're getting to be an old man. You're a quarter of a century old, And let me just tell you, Kim, if that kid would have acted the way some of your kids did, there would have been, it would have been a hot time in the old town tonight. I'll tell you, we didn't put up with any of that stuff, So you pay attention to your teachers.
Unfortunately, these days, I don't know. Parents are ridiculous. We have a lot of helicopter parents. A lot of, the mom didn't even stop to say, well, what's the other side of the coin?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fine. I understand. If I'd have been a parent and, my kid called me and said, hey, I would have been upset. But at the same time, I would have been like, okay, well, what's the rest of the story?
Exactly.
Anything. But, people are not built that way anymore. I deal with this. I've been teaching for 25 years. And these kids, this generation coming up right now is very different.
Well, and that does tie into the topic, and especially like you were saying, Dr. Heath, with kids growing up messed up. The social media, and just like before it, TV, and I heard people talking about video games in your space today, they all have some things in common, and that is it can draw and hold the attention of kids and people, adults even, for a long period of time. And so it's easy for adults to go here, here's the TV, or here's a phone, right? And my son having autism was kind of a blessing at this day and age, because he doesn't care about any of that. Yeah, he does like some video games, but I know with autism, there are studies showing that they actually relate to digital characters on a different sort of level. And so I wanted him to have like wholesome, all the Nintendo characters I grew up with that don't seem to have any, Mario's never touched any young kids. There's never been any, situations of Nintendo characters being linked to stuff that I don't like. And so I'm like, okay, there's some good stuff in there. And him and I play together, and there's all that. but I can see the downside of that as well, and then TV in general and all those things. But social media takes it to another level, and I want to play Deville's advocate a little bit, and I want to point out some of the good, and not just the good, but the inevitable. So social media represents a connection with all people that we never had before. You know, maybe we all used to watch the same TV show and we could talk about it at school the next day. Oh, we all watched that show. Oh, let's talk about it. But this is a whole different thing. We're all, not just us in the show now, but we are all in this sort of reality show they call social media. And it's not just the live streaming. It's within all the posting. Oh, did you see so-and-so made this post today about you? And all the someone just, you know, faked my account. Did you see that? And like all this stuff happening, it's this gossip, this whole kind of it's community connection. We talk about it. We say family, we say community, we say a lot of different terms, but it's real and it's true. But at the same time, you can go down the negative side of things where you're just doom scrolling like a nonstop, and it's all about like dopamine and or being depressed, and you want to just find something to keep your mind busy. And so there's a lot of pitfalls there, but I think like almost anything else, it also has a inevitability to it, you know, like say almost pick any invention that had to replace an older invention. And so what do you guys think about that? I mean, do you think that we have to navigate it, or is there really a way to just kind of not use it? I mean, there's some people out there that don't use any social media, and they like to tell you that they don't, and they're kind of like, oh, how cool am I? Like, there's a very few amount of people that do that. Do you guys think that's possible to keep, you know?
Well, just to jump in, it reminds me of a story from my professor in undergrad school who he and his wife wanted to go out on a date, and they'd been very, very serious about not having any play guns in the house for the kids. You know, it's strictly a no gun, even a no play gun thing. No anything that looks like a gun, acts like a gun. No sticks shaped like a gun or anything like that. And Mike, my professor, he was just so transparent. He said, you know, we left the kids with a babysitter. We came home and they were running around playing, you know, cowboys and Indians, shooting each other with you know, guns like their fingers and everything. So my point is, to your inevitability, you really can't. Heath, I mean, what are you a doctor of?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, that's funny. Yeah. Well, so I play a doctor on TV, but I'm one in real life. So it's neuropsychology and forensic psychology. I like to call myself a neuromechanic. I can't do diesel mechanics, but I can tell you how your brain works. And so the point is that it's inevitable with social media. So you're not going to be able to remove it, I think, successfully unless you're a prepper living in the wilderness without, you know, electricity. And so I think it's a tool how to take their gun fingers away. Yeah, it would require amputation, you know. So which is probably
Then
not a
they
good
just
idea.
use another finger.
That's right.
Right.
They would use the fingered beans got on his cap, you know. They'd be
Yeah.
middle fingers next. And so the problem is not the tool, it's the education about the tool. It's the engagement, as Kim pointed out, of the parents with the tool. So the
Right.
problem is never the thing itself. It's how the thing is used, you know. So
Sure.
My problem, I'm sure Kim sees the same thing, is parental engagement. And so many parents today will use school as a babysitter. They'll use church as a babysitter, malls as a babysitter, video games, TV as a babysitter. Look, as we started out, if you're going to be a parent, when you put, it's adult show, when you put tab A into slot B, you were implicitly agreeing to create a human life. See, yeah, y'all are getting it. A human life. And that's a responsibility. Now, if you don't want that responsibility, there's ways not to get that responsibility. But you really can't farm it out effectively to schools. This is the problem in schools. The problem is not the schools, other than they're underfunded. And I'm not trying to play to Kim, but I just had a discussion today with a law enforcement officer. And I kid you not, get this. Whatever you think about law enforcement, you got to admit this is ridiculous. When I was building my pool, I couldn't build it by myself. So I would go to the homeless shelter, people that need jobs. I picked them up every day. We'd have 13, 14, 15 of them here working, great workers, most of them. And they made $16 an hour, paid them above minimum wage. $16 an hour. I didn't have to do that, but I did. I thought that was fair. And it's also what I could afford, everything. Law enforcement in this area are paid the same amount I was paying people from the homeless shelter. That's what law enforcement makes to protect your homes, protect your families, protect your kids, protect schools. And it's the same with teachers. You know, why are we paying people the lowest rate to do the most important work? And I've got a dog in the fight because my mother-in-law was a high school counselor. My father-in-law was a high school principal. Everybody loved them, and good for them, you know. But the problem, again, is not the teachers, not the school. I mean, it could be sometimes. There's bad apples everywhere. But the problem is the value that society places on parenting, and they don't. I see kids that will be left at home so mama can go party at the bar, or so daddy can party at the bar or go hunting. Look, when I decided to have my son, my life of living for me was over. And I graduated to a bigger, more important life. So whatever you think about TikTok, you know, I think TikTok's got a lot of silly stuff on it. But TikTok is not the problem. It is a tool, and it should not be left, you know, without some type of responsibility in the hands of kids. And we talked in the space today, you know, if you don't know who your kids' friends are, where they're going, where they're at, what's in their hand, what they're writing in their freaking journal, what they're watching on TV, and you can do everything on this little device here, you know, including get on the dark web, you know, all kinds of nasty stuff there, then you're just a bad parent, period. But again, thank you so much for your copay, or thank you for your kids' copay.
Yeah. And
But
you know,
isn't
I
it
try to
more
give-
than just?
Go ahead, Bean.
Isn't it just more than just the kids getting into it and stuff like that? Wasn't the original concern with TikTok is that it was supposedly a national security risk?
Yes,
That
it is
is
a
the
national
main-
security risk.
That's
the
That
main
was
thing.
the concern. That was the overall concern, and why it caught a ban. Was
Yeah, my
because-
problem with it, like, is if it is a national security risk, then there is no excuse.
Well,
to
and
get
that's
rid
what
of.
the Supreme Court said. It just went to the Supreme Court the other
Right.
day, and that's
Yeah,
what the Supreme Court
but it
said.
bothers me
Overruled
that
the ban.
It bothers me that the same people that 2 months ago were pushing to get a few months ago were pushing to get rid of it. Now all of a sudden, since they figured out how to use the software and use it to their advantage, and it helped them win the election, now all of a sudden they're pushing to keep it.
That's not all, though. It's not just that they
turned it
learn
off
how to
and then
use
turned
it.
it back on, so it works perfectly fine now.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not.
No, you
it's taken
can't.
off the App Store. They're taking off the App Store. So
Well,
they,
I
what
took it
happens?
off
this is
Apple
what
App
happens.
Store. I don't think that they've taken it off Google Play yet, but I
They
haven't
have. I went and tried to look
seen
for
that
it,
for
but
sure.
that's why I'm saying I got 2 phones. Starting bids start at $10K if anybody wants them. I got TikTok downloaded on them.
Right, and so supposedly you can still use it right for now. But this is what happened. Okay, we want to just read it here. Legal and political developments. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld a law that could potentially ban TikTok in the U.S. unless Chinese parent company ByteDance sells the platform. And so this whole thing was not an actual ban. It was a forced to divest. This was a thing where they said, listen, if you can not be connected to the country, just you can make money here, you can still operate. And they refused to do this. And it says, however, the Biden administration clarified it would not enforce the ban, leaving the decision to the incoming Trump administration. President-elect Donald Trump, who previously favored a ban, announced he would issue an executive order, which this part is not legal. And he may have done this, but that is not what brought it back. It says, issue an executive order to extend the deadline for ByteDance to find an American buyer, which was never going to happen, potentially guaranteeing a 90-day reprieve for TikTok. And so even those phones that you have it on, being those may not. I mean, that whoever still has the app running it may go down still. And I guess people are talking about using a VPN. Go ahead.
Yeah. That doesn't really clarify the situation. They're not talking about selling off the whole company. They're talking about selling off a portion of the company to America, and then the Chinese company would still get like dividends off of that. They're not talking about the Chinese company has to sell the whole company. They're talking about that they have to sell an American portion of it, and somebody in America would control that portion. It would run off the same types of servers.
That's what Trump is suggesting. That's what he said. This 90 days until they can find an American buyer. I think you're right. They want.
Yeah, they don't want to buy the whole company though.
Yeah.
You know
just
what?
the portion.
You know what though? I heard. I think it was on Meet the Press last weekend that they were talking about. I don't know. I watch a bunch of political shows and stuff, but I think it was Meet the Press, and they were talking about this, and they said that it wasn't as big of a concern as it had been back when Donald Trump, first supported it, because they had moved a bunch of their servers to American servers. But there's nothing to stop them from moving their stuff back out of an American server.
Yeah.
So,
none of this makes any sense, really. Like, it's just getting. Go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
you have to pay attention to all the little things that are going on behind the scenes with this.
I mean, they don't want to get rid of their control of it, and this is the feeling behind this, and probably there's proof, but I can't point to it exactly. But they offer something different to their children in their country in China, and they don't even allow this algorithm TikTok in their country. They have something else, a different app. So maybe you could argue it's the same app, but why did they call it something else anyway? They push TikTok out to the rest of the world. And it's been shown to just sort of like naturally give you this like mind melting kind of
well, it's
content.
hypnotic. It's the whole Pied Piper kind of a thing, in reality.
The
and
defenders
it's
of it say that,
it's dangerous because you have a foreign, enemy that's got mind control over the children of our country, of not just children, but whoever it is that's using it, that's addicted to it or whatever.
People are so worried about the data. They're like, people are sidetracked with, we're worried about them getting our data. Every app gets our data. That is not the worry. Yeah, it's
well, the data is the worry, because the data, look at what data they're collecting. I guarantee you, they're targeting people with that data with shit that's not good.
Hello, Kayla. Hello, Lisa. Donald Trump himself said it on TV. Yeah, he wants to help, but I don't think he can write an executive order that overrides the Supreme Court. That just isn't going to be something that worked. But what happened was,
I think that I may be wrong, but I think that the Supreme Court decision was not whether to ban TikTok or not, but does the government have the constitutional right from the executive branch? Does executive branch have the right to step in and do it? And they ruled that they did. And so the purpose of the Supreme Court is to interpret the Constitution. And so the case before the court was simply, does the executive branch have the constitutional right to do such a thing? I was kind of surprised. I thought that they would do some type of negotiation, but it said that they would. But playing devil's advocate, like Waylon said, he was going to play. I do crisis intervention work. And so I remember getting a call years ago to a factory. I won't call the name of the factory, but the factory operated in America. It was run by Canadians and owned by Russians. So the ownership was Russian. The operators were Canadian, and it was located in America. Now, my point with that, and I don't know, this is all me supposing and hypothesizing, is, do you really think that TikTok is the only company
Oh God, no.
that has connections to, China, Russia, wherever? And do you really think that they're going to go around one by one and, halt all these companies, because a lot of these companies are at this point they're just woven into, they're integral to the American economy to the tune of hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I'm a bit of a skeptic when it comes to saying that the executive branch stepped in to limit TikTok because China was collecting, information on a 13-year-old kid. Who cares? What's China going to do with that? So
it's not
people
about
talk-
that though. It's not
Huh?
It's not about them collecting their information.
Mhm.
It's about what they're feeding them. So now adults will tell you this. I've heard people say this. You can go on there and you can curate your algorithm, kind of like on X, where you can say, "Don't show me any of this. Only show me this," and that's fine. But for kids, it's been proven, and now I definitely agree. China probably owns a bit of every app, right? But the difference with this app is that they say, now again, I don't know the specifics of where this study came from, but the study was that the TikTok is purposely showing this algorithm of really sort of degenerating stuff. Now, to your point, maybe every other app does as well. But I think, to me, that's my biggest concern, is how that was shown, is that they are not just taking our data, which they get from everywhere else, email, Gmail, Hotmail, but they're actually trying to, so with the Israel-Palestine thing, so this is how it was explained to me. You take a small creator, say a guy, he's got a couple thousand followers, he's working on this and that, he's trying every different type of video to get through the algorithm. Well, it's as easy as this. If China wants to start us, get young people against our government, they can start promoting whatever video that kid does. And it was explained with an Israel-Palestine situation. They said maybe they promote this kid when he starts criticizing Israel. All of a sudden, he got 100,000 views on that one. Oh, blah, blah. And this kid's like, well, okay. And then he starts doing more of that. And more and more and more of that, and then it rolls this whole snowball of wax with all these other kids that say, see that that's getting popular. I'm going to do that. Copycats, people that do a similar thing that other bigger accounts doing. And so by that standard, I agree that other apps probably have something similar that they can do to sway elections per se and other type things. But this one is the only one that we can't just subpoena, because it's owned by another country. We can't subpoena China to come into court. That explains a reason why we could say Facebook subpoena Mark Zuckerberg to go talk like a robot to Congress or whatever, or whatever it is. But we can actually, there is some recourse there, which may or may be a dog and pony show.
I think I understand kind of what you're saying. One thing that I read, and I'm not aware of all the stuff that you're talking about, but I'm trying to tune into it, and it kind of makes sense to me. One of the things that I saw was one of the insiders of TikTok said that the TikTok algorithm is the best at what it does, and it is the most valuable algorithm on the planet. The most that caught my attention. It's better than anything Meta has. It's better than anything X has. It's the best. It is the most valuable algorithm on the planet.
Oh my God.
And that the owner, and he called somebody, maybe he just named ByteDance, I don't know, but I think he said somebody's name, that they would let the company go under before they would ever reveal that algorithm. It was that valuable. So I think, that from what I know about it, which is very little, I have a TikTok account. I tried to pull it up, whatever day that was, just curious, because I'm on X. I spend so much time on X. I don't have time. Hey there, Ted. Good to see you, man. I don't have time to get on it, but I do plan. I post videos. It's all psychological videos, simplifying psychology. But it said that, it's suspended. And then I was shocked that 5 hours later, and literally 5 hours later, it's back up. So I don't know. Everything Waylon said may be correct, but I've always been taught to follow the money. Follow the money.
Yep.
So the most valuable algorithm on the planet, with the most powerful social media on the planet, TikTok, everybody's favorite, evidently, is down, and it's back up in 5 hours. And we think that all the national security concerns and whatever brainwashing, which I've got shows and shows on end about, debating the ability of people to be brainwashed, manipulated, and all that kind of thing. That's just my gig. Kids are a different matter. But to think that all that was solved in 5 hours, I'm sure they've been working on it.
They
But
wanted you to think that.
as soon
not
as
really what
Donald
happened.
Trump got involved, and so that leads me to think, wait a minute, maybe it was more about the money. That, look, you can operate, and Donald Trump's a wheeler dealer, money, money, money. You can operate, but you're going to pay us $1 billion, $2 billion a year into the U.S. economy. Some deal was made where we're making money at it, so you're good to go. Do I know that? I don't know that. I'm just hypothesizing.
Well, here's what happened, at least from the few sources I've seen. I watch Timcast, I watch a few other people, and they debated all this. And that what happened is ByteDance chose to shut down. That's when they shut down after the Supreme Court decision, like you said, was not a ruling on them. It was a ruling on whether or not it's possible. And ByteDance chose to shut down, making all of these people who are addicted and making money on there, financially, invested in this company. All those people got really upset really quick, really effing quick. And then when it came back, it was actually ByteDance that chose to turn it back on. And they said, "Thank you, President Trump, blah, 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 blah." And this was right after President Trump had made a post about it and said that he was going to make an executive order, which none of that was actually going to do anything, because I've been explained that that's like not a legal thing where what he can do. Anyway, that's a different area. But what happened was they basically blamed it on him that it came back up, even though it was not. And so they did that on purpose in order to get this to make Trump feel good about all these people going, "Oh, thank you so much." And then basically we know Trump's ego, and he wants people to love him, and he's going to be like, "Okay, I'm all behind this. This is great." And so that was how it was explained. And I think it makes a lot of sense, but also it's actually provable to know that they are the ones that shut it down. It wasn't that this is not a ban. It's a choice whether they have to either divest from China or have to shut down. But there's so many things going on here. The possibility of us buying into it, the possibility of them divesting, which we probably know they're not going to do. But to your point, though, they could still divest from China but keep their algorithm. But they're choosing not to do that because it's not them. It's really China. Like everyone knows, China actually owns every business.
Oh yeah,
that is the Chinese business. The government, the CCP. Nothing wrong with the people there, but the CCP government, we love ours so much, right? Theirs is probably just as bad or worse. And so there's that connection, which I think we don't have. Now, we did find out with the Twitter files, thanks to Elon Musk releasing all that information showing FBI and CIA and all these connections from our government into social media saying, "We need you to do this, we need you to do that, turn this on, turn that off." And then we have it seconded with Zuckerberg's interview with Joe Rogan talking about the fact that, oh yeah, the Biden administration were calling him every day, screaming at them. He said they were screaming at them to do this and that and stuff. I don't see that happening. I feel like it was probably more like, "All right, Mark, it's time to turn this on and turn that off. You know the drill." Like they probably didn't have to scream at all. They were probably like, "You know what happens if you don't, like we got our finger on this red button right here."
Yeah.
Anyway, intense. But
well, all that goes back to Edward Snowden. I mean, that really, in my mind, blew the lid off how intrusive the government is and doesn't play fair with the laws that they claim to set that would send most people to prison, and because they get a free pass, TikTok losing money, they'd be like, yeah, probably so, man. If they went public, man, that would be like a freaking $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me being a conspiracy theorist, I believe it's covering up something else. I think something else has been going on the whole time, that this has taken over worldwide news, literally worldwide news. So what is it covering up? Because really, it's affecting people's income, but there are other platforms that they can go to.
That's my second problem I have with it. They're the security thing, but if you shut down TikTok, they're going to invade my platform.
What's your platform, Bean?
The Facebook, I saw it all day that day that it shut down. All of a sudden, everybody was on Facebook talking about, "Oh, my TikTok got shut down. Like, get
Yep.
out of here."
Yeah, everybody else, every other social media, I'm on Substack, and immediately that morning, everybody and his brother is reaching out, pandering to all the TikTok people, which I don't even think that, I don't know, it doesn't really seem to fit. Substack and TikTok, two different things, but everybody's pandering to the TikTok users, but they're so faithful. Waylon, I want to mention one thing that came to my mind. One of the sad things to me is that with kids today, when you take away, and some adults too, their social media, in this case TikTok, it is almost to them like cutting off their oxygen supply, which is crazy. I have guys in the military, recruiters, that have trouble recruiting people, and here and you guys have served, but get this. What one of the big reasons for people dropping out of training early on is when they're told you can't have your cell phone. What? I got to give up my cell phone? Oh, no, I'm not. I don't want to serve my country that bad.
What?
Give up my cell phone.
That must be. I wonder when that happened or when that started to change. Because
I don't know. I was told about it here a couple months ago, and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm not kidding. We have guys just dropping like flies. I'm not giving up my cell phone."
Well, you remember when Facebook went down for however many hours it was?
Dr. Heath doesn't use Facebook, but yeah, we do. Imagine X going down for a few hours, Dr. Heath.
It would be a blessing. I don't mind at all. I recommend it to people. I will leave the house and forget my phone, and I thank God above I forgot my phone because I've got a good excuse not to look at it. It has not. I'm just telling you, it's good for a lot of things. But I'm from the days where you carried a bunch of coins in your console and you hunted down a payphone to call somebody. And those were the good old days. I do not think, there are some good things, safety things. I got Life 360 on my family. I like knowing where they are and they know where I am. But overall, I don't know. There's a really scary book I read. And it's so scary because I read this book 27 years ago. And I kid you not, the book was about, Alyssa May, you're right. And it really is, it's just so disturbing. But I remember I was going to Southern Illinois on a consulting gig, and the book was about humans who were jacked in to the internet. This was the early days of the internet. And they had emaciated away to nothing. And their whole life was lived on the internet. They'd never seen the sky. They'd never seen a cloud. They'd never seen a tree. They were born and grew up in like a dark basement, jacked into some computer device, living their life online. And we're there. And we're going to be there more as virtual reality develops, where people don't have to do anything, go anywhere. You live your entire life, and there's a whole world out there that kids are missing out on. But at any rate, I get on a soapbox there.
Well, but that's one good reason why the phone kind of took over from the TV, and so you can take your phone out to the park with you and on a trip and wherever, and you can still have whatever. But to your point, people aren't going outside as often nowadays. But I think there's a pushback for that. I personally have found a lot of communities, health-driven communities, people that are just a sort of a positive force online, and that was the reason why I came to where I'm at. Like, I actually was one of these people that stayed away from the social media. I barely posted on Facebook, and I turned around and I jumped in head first. And I thought, well, the only way to combat all the nasty stuff online is to put something good back out into the world, so to speak, And it's like, let's look for more like-minded people, and that's where we get these fine folks on the screen. Well, we are close to an hour. I'm going to put the wheel up, you guys, for the final spin this week while we're talking. But yeah, so don't. I wouldn't say, or I wouldn't think that the TikTok situation is over with yet, guys. And if you're out there and you think, oh, it's back on my phone, everything's all good, I would get yourself ready. Get yourself a little that soft cushion of like, hey, every app has this possibility. Think about Parler. Parler was a political situation where the right had this big, like all this momentum on this sort of Twitter-like
That's what it
app.
was.
And then, yeah, remember that one? Yeah, and then all of
I
a
was trying
sudden,
to think of the name of it the other day.
what's that, Jason?
You got MySpace. This ain't our first rodeo.
Yeah, and so this
So
is so
we've
like
seen-
I've been saying this recently on X. Elon Musk says this about human beings, but why he wants to get to Mars. Whether or not there's some ulterior motive, that's another story. But my point is, the math works out that if we have humans on multiple planets, and something major happens on one of those two planets, we have a much higher chance of the human race surviving, right? And I like that. So that same philosophy works on the internet. And I tell people, don't just live all your life on one app. There's a whole world out there. And yes, you can get stuck doom scrolling, but a lot of us meet real people on these apps. And like Bean Dongo's been in my house. Jason's been in my house. Red Six, you've been in my house. Kim has not been in my house.
Too far
Contrary to popular belief. No, but
Hey,
you
I
know,
live in Florida.
yeah,
Contrary to popular belief, there's a popular belief that I've been in your house.
I'm just starting rumors.
Oh, okay. I was like, where did that come from?
He's got all
I
those. Well, someone
I've
told
heard
me
that around the water cooler.
Someone told me that. Yeah, someone told me that hashtag PITB meant people in the basement, and I have them all locked up down here. And it was just like, yeah, you guys have to be on my show once a week. I'll feed you. You know, ankle
Good
He
monitor.
has
luck
different
locking
corners
me
of
up
his
in the
basement
basement.
set up.
Yeah, there's different cubicles. You can actually stand up and look over the wall and see Kim over there. You're all chained up. But no, like I think there's a way to merge the two. I think there's a way to be proactive about, and some of it is a little bit weird because you see these people that go on location just to get pictures for their social media, and it's like that's all. I feel that's how I am at sometimes when I'm like I'm at a cool place because I'm doing a review for my show that's online, and so all I'm doing is taking pictures and not really getting to enjoy the whatever the event, whatever I'm at, you know. And so I have to kind of do a little bit of both. That's why every year I go to the Drizzle Dab Token Float, which is actually put on for the MS Muscular Sclerosis charity every year. And it's just a float down the river on a kayak. And it's so cool because I don't have to worry about my phone the whole time. I just kind of, you know, have a good, you know, relax. You know, actually, real quick before you have to go, Dr. Heath, I meant to ask you, you're down south a little bit. Are you getting snow down there? Or?
Yeah, uncharacteristically, we got about 6 inches last week. And the temperature, I woke up one morning, it was 8 degrees. And then in 5 hours, we had a heat wave. It had popped at 20 degrees to 28 degrees. And so I get up every night at 1:30 and go outside and check everything and make sure, you know, the heat is still working and things are still dripping and we're not, you know, freezing up and everything. But yeah, it's been really, really weird here. Pretty chilly for Arkansas.
You're in Arkansas? I thought you were in Tennessee.
Well, I was born in Nashville.
Oh, gotcha.
That's my home city, Nashville. Went to school in Goodlettsville.
That's wow, snap.
Oh, you got a listener
I'm
with
in New
cerebral
Mexico.
migraine.
I'm in southern New Mexico down
New Mexico. I bet you got. Do you guys get snow?
Surprised what happened.
They do in northern New Mexico,
Oh.
but we did get some of that snow that hit. What was it, a week ago?
Mhm.
We did get. It wasn't a whole lot.
Man, we got enough snow. We built some snowmen and
Oh,
went
wow.
sledding and made
But-
snow cream 4 or 5 times. It was
All good,
awesome.
DC.
But we got a lot of cold weather. Like it's It's been in the 20s the
Ooh.
last several nights, but it's supposed to get down to 17 degrees tonight. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
last week we got down below, I don't know, it's like 10 degrees.
Yeah, man.
Bean,
that's
you're in
really
Florida.
cool.
Common.
Bean's
Down
in
this
Florida.
part
Did you get
south.
snow? You're muted, Bean. He's like, it was the fish was
I
this
am so
big."
happy that the snow completely missed me.
Oh,
Did it? You're in
Yeah.
Florida. I heard they got snow down there.
They got it on the panhandle. I'm over.
no snow cream for Bean.
You know
No,
what?
I am happy about it.
I watched the news out of Tallahassee. I don't know where Tallahassee's at. I think it's kind of in the central part of the state, right?
Yeah, it's like
Tallahassee.
on the west side.
Yeah,
West
west,
Coast.
but it's central. And they were showing that this was before the snow came, but they were forecasting to get snow down that far into Florida.
I know.
all
I
the way
saw a
up.
video.
Oh my gosh, that's
I saw a
crazy.
video at the Welcome to Florida sign over on 75 that there was like 6 inches of snow right there at the sign.
Yeah.
Welcome to Florida. Like we're going on
Like-
vacation.
Yeah.
I just saw a picture on Facebook a few minutes ago of a snowman that was built on the ocean, the shores of the the
Oh
ocean.
my
there,
gosh.
somewhere
That's
over there.
crazy.
Playing in the snow.
Yeah.
Houston
People
got
on
it.
the beach playing in the snow. That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
8.8.
Yeah.
8.8 inches in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
for 2 days the weather said it was supposed to snow here, and I'm like sitting here like, please don't.
Wait.
Really bad.
Don't tell me it didn't snow. It snowed all the way over to the Gulf of America.
Yeah. Houston got snow. What's that? Galveston got snow.
All the way around the Gulf of America.
Yeah. Well, except down in southern Florida.
Well, I just
From
wanted to say
Central
Gulf of
southern
America.
Florida, just the panhandle of
Every
Florida
time.
got it. But South Carolina, Myrtle Beach got snow.
Oh,
I
I've been to
don't-
Myrtle Beach. That was a good
Yeah.
place. I was there. I went there after basic training for a few days. We went there, and it was magical
Yeah.
time.
Waylon, I'm going to do your job for a minute.
That's crazy.
up?
It is crazy
Dr.
weather.
Heath, I jumped on your site here, school.com/mindset. What do we
Yeah,
got
man.
going on with this? Do you do brain mapping, or is it just neurological feedback, or what are we doing?
Dr. Heath's awesome, man.
Before you dive
it's-
in that, I got to get out of here.
It's a community just based
See you
on
later, buddy.
mindset. Hey, Bean, take it easy in Florida.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, sir.
You too. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, I
Waylon.
just noticed
Later.
you actually do have beans on your. What kind of beans are those? Are those soybeans, kidney beans,
Jumping.
Something like that.
jumping beans?
Magic bean. They're going
I,
to
uh,
grow.
Have a
big
good
fruit.
night,
Let's
brother.
see you. No, Mindset Masterclass. Thanks for asking. I'd like to simplify psychology concepts, and so I share